Hello world, I'm coming to you live from my kitchen where I'm here to do a different kind of Wentworth related video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the inmates, the women of Wentworth. We're going to be talking about their crimes and we're going to be talking about their punishments. We're going to ask ourselves the question, does the punishment fit the crime? Because after doing some investigations, I've got questions. May I present to you my new notebook of notes? Because the notebook that I was gifted from Craig and Pete, I finished writing in it. I used that notebook to write all my season 9 episode review notes on. But I'm not throwing it away. I'm keeping it right where it's at forever. Some of the information that I'm using in this video I got from this book, the Wentworth, the Final Sentence on File book. That's what it looks like. I want to give a shout out to Gail for surprising me with the book. I want to just say thank you so much. Thanks, Gail, for the book because I love it so much and I'm never going to get rid of it ever, ever, ever. Inside, I'll give you a quick example. For example, for B. Smith, it gives you like the file on B. Smith. Inmate number, her crimes, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. We're going to start with B. Smith. Inmate number 329460. And her crimes are the following. Attempted murder of Harry Smith. In the book, they said her crimes, but remember that scene in episode 1, because I was just watching episode 1, taking my notes for the season 1, episode 1 review, when Jax Holtz is like, what are you in for, love? Parking tickets? She got a lot of nerve assuming that it was parking tickets. So B. Smith tells her, nah, bitch, it was this. And she runs down the list of her charges. On the show, B tells Jax that she's in for offense to administer substances, causing serious injury, conduct endangering life, grievous bodily harm, and attempted murder. In the book, her charges are different because it's everything that happened after she was first in Wentworth on remand. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm assuming. So I'm going to read you her new charges according to the book now. The attempted murder of Harry Smith, for which she was acquitted. Drug trafficking whilst incarcerated. Assault. Aggravated assault. Manslaughter when she killed Jacqueline Holtz. Escaping lawful custody. Conduct endangering life. And then this one was not written in the book, but we saw it happen. You know what I'm saying? The murder of Braden Holtz. So for all of her crimes, not including the murder of Harry Smith, because she was acquitted for that, she received life in jail. And she served only 2 years of her sentence because, as we saw in the ending of season 4, B. Smith was brutally murdered in no man's land, okay, by the freak. The next inmate is Frankie Doyle, inmate number 220247. And her crimes were assault by way of throwing hot oil on Mike Panisi. The murder of Meg Jackson, which went unpunished, okay? Which I have questions about, but we'll get to those questions when we get to that episode review. The murder of Mike Panisi, for which she was also acquitted because she didn't do it. And then escaping lawful custody, for which she was acquitted. So when she assaulted Mike Panisi and threw the hot oil on him, she received 7 years. Of which she served 5 years. Damn, so Frankie did 5 years in Wentworth Correctional Center. Suzanne Jenkins, aka Boomer, inmate number 383497. Okay, her crimes. This is disturbing to me, and we're gonna talk about it when I'm done with all of them. So her crimes are intentionally causing serious injury, possession of drugs while incarcerated, and the manslaughter of Liz Birdsworth. Sentenced to life. By the time the series ended, she had served 8 years of a life sentence. We're going to get back to Boomer because I have so many questions about her sentencing, about her punishment, you know what I'm saying? Liz Birdsworth, another interesting one. Inmate number 072416. Her crimes. Driving under the influence. Dangerous driving causing death. And vehicular manslaughter of her mother-in-law. Sentenced to 11 years. Served 10. Oh, God, I'm going to get back to this one because I've got thoughts, but I just want to run down the list first. Doreen Anderson, inmate number 335571. Crimes. Driving under the influence and reckless endangerment. Sentenced to 5 years, and I don't know how much she served. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't find it anywhere. But I'm assuming she probably served like maybe 4, 4.5. out of those 5 years because she was released on parole, but I do know she got an early parole, so she probably served anywhere from 4 to 4.5 years of her 5-year sentence. Ali Novak, inmate number 515413. Her crimes are the following: aggravated assault, kidnapping, obstruction of justice, and the murder of Sean Brody, which was in self-defense. She was sentenced to 8 years. I thought it was 10, okay? But I guess I was wrong. And she served, at the time that the series finished, 2 years of the 8-year sentence. Mari Winter. Oh my God. Her crimes: the murder of her son's doctor, assault, and occasioning grievous bodily harm. She was sentenced to 15 years in Wentworth Correctional Center and served 1 year. Mari came in season 6. So you're trying to tell me that from season 6, 7, 8, and 9, that's 4 seasons, and she only served a year? If Mari Winter was introduced to us in season 6 and she dies in season 9, how the fuck is that just 1 year? So I figured it out. Mari Winter was indeed in jail for only just a year. I know that it sounded a little unbelievable. Well, to me, it sounded a little unbelievable. I was like, hold up, a year? Because this bitch was like, for the last 3-4 years on my screen. In Wentworth time, it's not the same as real life time. You know what I'm saying? And that's my fault for assuming that, years went by. But if you look at these photos that are on the screen right now, it shows us how Dr. Miller has been there since season 7 up until the end, and he was only in Wentworth for 6 months. And then you see how Ann Reynolds came in season 8 part 1 and left, season 8 part 2, and she was only in there for 3 months, which means that season 7 lasted for 3 months. Season 8 part 1 and part 2 as a whole was also 3 months. So then it's very possible that Mari Winter was in Wentworth for only just 1 year and not longer like it seemed. Because for us in the real world, a year goes by in between seasons. But for Wentworth time, it's different. I hope that I explained this properly because sometimes I just don't know what the hell I'm saying. But yeah, the bitch was in jail for a fucking year. The end. Rita Connors, inmate number 220357. Rita Connors, her crimes are the murder of Zara Dragovich, aka Drago, and the murder of Detective Morelli, for which she was sentenced to 15 years in prison, and she served, at the time of the ending of the series, a mere 8 months. Karen Proctor, aka Kaz, inmate number 593802. Her crimes were the following: aggravated assault, attempted murder, and the murder of Sonia Stevens. Kaz was sentenced to 25 years in the penitentiary. Joan the Freak Ferguson, inmate number 580132. Her crimes are the following: conspiracy to commit murder of Jess Warner, conspiracy to commit assault, the murder of B. Smith, arson, aggravated assault, blackmail, extortion, and home invasion. I'm going to get back to this later. At the end of this, I'm going to give you my thoughts. She was sentenced to 7 years, all right? And she served 5 years. 5 years? How in the fuck did Joan Ferguson serve 5 years in prison? I don't buy it, and I'm going to talk about it at the end of this video. Sonia Stevens, inmate number 986485, and her crimes were the following. So Sonia is a special case because Sonia, for her entire time in Wentworth, she was basically on remand. So her crimes were murder of her husband, for which she was acquitted, the murder of her best friend Helen Masters, for which she was acquitted, and then murder of her husband again after the new evidence came to light. You know what I'm saying? Perverting the course of justice, assault, attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud. Her sentencing, she never got sentenced because she was killed before her sentencing. You know what I'm saying? But she served less than a year in Wentworth Correctional Center. And now we've got Ruby Mitchell, And her crimes are assault, resisting arrest, breaking and entering, the murder of Danny Winter, for which she was unpunished, accessory to murder, and absconding lawful custody day release. You know what I'm saying? The breaking and entering is when she took the blame for Narelle, remember? She was sentenced to 9 months. Reb Keene. So his crimes are armed robbery, vehicle theft, and resisting arrest, for which he was sentenced to 10 fucking years in prison. 10 years. That's crazy, okay? My precious baby love, Luke Kelly, is next. Her inmate number is a very special number. Ready for this? Her inmate number has 1 digit less than the rest of the women. And her inmate number is 48725, which I found fascinating. And I'm going to tell you why. Because my birthday is what? 8/24/78. So here we got 48725. Get rid of that 5 and we're left with 4872. 8, right? My birthday. 24, the date of my birthday. 78, the year of my birth. And you're trying to tell me that Luke Kelly and I weren't meant to be together? You know what I'm saying? I know she doesn't exist, but if you know what I'm trying to say, like her and I were supposed to be together as one. When you think Michi, you think Luke Kelly, because I love her so much. And if Luke Kelly was real, she would love me too. I just know it. So Luke Kelly's charges are unauthorized possession of a firearm, armed robbery, vehicle theft, assault, and resisting police, for which she was sentenced to 10 years. And according to my calculations, as far as the information that I have gathered from the book, she served 3 months at the time of the series end. Now, some of her other crimes that went uncharged, as far as we know, are, the mass murder of 9 people in the True Paths Retreat and Lifestyle fucking place, okay? Arson, because she set the damn building ablaze, all right? She also killed Mari Winter. She killed Sheila Bausch. And she committed an act of terrorism by way of bombing the fucking prison. Oh my God. Luke Kelly, she's just so badass. And I love her. Now we have 2 more left, which are the guards. So these are the crimes of the guards that have gone unpunished. Will Jackson's crimes are tampering with evidence, attempted murder of Joan Ferguson, aiding and abetting escaped prisoner Frankie Doyle. I have a question about this and I'm going to come back to it. Vera Bennett, illegal euthanasia of her mother, all right? Blackmail, tampering with evidence, and conspiracy to commit murder, even though she didn't set forth with the plan. And then Jig Stewart, he killed Nils Jesper, okay? Here are my thoughts and my questions. Life sentences. Prisoners who were sentenced to life, there's 2 of them. I thought there were more. I thought Kaz had life and I thought Ali had life, but I was wrong. Just B and Boomer have life in prison, okay? Here is my problem with this. B murdered 2 people, Jacqueline Holtz and her son, Braden Holtz, all right? She killed these motherfuckers. She fucking escaped prison to kill Braden, okay? So those 3 crimes right there, I can understand why they gave her life in jail. I cannot understand for the life of me, how the fuck did Boomer end up with life in jail? Because before she kills Lizzie, the mercy killing of Lizzie, she had only 2 charges, which were intentionally causing serious injury and possession of drugs while incarcerated. And if you ask me, those crimes, that's nothing. So what? She had drugs in jail. Big deal. So what? She beat somebody up. Big deal. You know what I'm saying? So how much time did she get for those crimes? You know what I'm saying? Nobody died. How did she go from 2 small offenses to life in jail? So Boomer served 8 years, all right? So how much time did she get for possessing drugs in jail and beating the shit out of people? Mad years? That don't make no sense to me. How does she go from that to her first murder and gets life in jail? B. Smith killed 2 people and got life in jail. How the fuck is it that Boomer gets life in jail? I don't think Boomer's crime fits the punishment. I think that they did Boomer so dirty, somebody has to help her, okay? She needs to get the fuck out of jail. She shouldn't be in jail for the rest of her life. And I have another question. How long are these children allowed to stay with their incarcerated mothers in these prisons? Can they live their whole life there? Like if the mom has life, like Boomer does, and we know she's pregnant now, you know what I'm saying? When she gives birth, we know that she could keep the baby in there at least till toddler status, because remember Kaya? She was a toddler. She was more than a toddler. She was a little fucking kid already. She was a full-blown kid. So how long can they stay there? Okay, so now I've got a question as far as Lou and Reb's sentence versus Liz Birdsworth's sentence. So both Lou and Reb, they both got 10 years for armed robbery and possession of a firearm, okay? Which if you ask me is excessive. It's excessive, okay? Because I'm going to give you an example. One of my ex-boyfriends from years and years ago who is incarcerated as we speak, when we were together, when him and I were an item and he was arrested and sentenced to 7 years in the penitentiary, his crime was armed robbery, okay? And he shot the dude. He aimed at the dude's head. The dude moved and he ended up shooting his ear. I don't know if he shot a piece of the ear off, if he grazed the ear. I don't know what happened. But when I went to go see him in the precinct, there was blood on his shirt. So something happened. But he shot him in the ear. So for shooting someone in the ear, okay, which is attempted murder because he could have killed him had he shot him in the head, and possession of a firearm here in New York City, he got 7 years. 7. And Lou and Reb got 10. And they didn't even shoot nobody. Nobody was shot. That's crazy right there. They need an appeal. Somebody needs to file an appeal because that's crazy. Not that it matters now because Lou went on to murder multiple people and fucking blow up the prison, so she can't get an appeal. And Reb is resting in peace. So, but Liz got 11 years for vehicular manslaughter and a DUI, driving under the influence. So she just got 1 more year and she killed a whole person. But all they did was armed robbery and possession of a firearm, and these motherfuckers got 10 years. I don't understand the punishment system. I don't understand how Wentworth works. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, because these punishments don't fit the crime. And then let's talk about Liz again for 1 second. Poor fucking Lizzie. She died and she only had 1 year left of prison to go. I wish that the siege would have never happened, because if it didn't happen, Liz would have made it out of Wentworth, and I believe that Artie, her son, would have taken good care of her. Poor Liz, man. Fucking shit. Liz's crime was much more severe than Lou and Reb, so why in the fuck would they get sentenced to 10 years? You know what I'm saying? I can see how Lou could have gotten the 10 years, being that she's a repeat offender, but this was Reb's first crime. So I just don't understand. And I got some questions. Number 1, whose home did Joan break into? Because that's one of her crimes. Home invasion. Whose home did she break into? So the only thing that I could come up with was Vera's. Did she break into Vera's home? You know, when Vera came home and she found the black leather gloves on her pillow? Was that Joan? Because I was under the impression that it was Brenda Murphy having done that. But I guess I was wrong. And my next question was, it's about Will. Because it says that Will aiding and abetting escaped prisoner Frankie Doyle. My question is, did he know about Frankie's escape attempt? Like, did he know that Frankie was going to be escaping as well? Because from my understanding, Allie got caught out there, told Jake Stewart what her plan was to escape. But I never saw or heard that she told him about Frankie escaping. You know what I'm saying? I thought that she blew herself up, like told on herself, like lagged on herself. You know what I'm saying? I thought that's what she did. I didn't think for 1 second that she, you know, told him that Frankie was also planning of escaping. Did Will know about this or didn't he? I don't know. I don't fucking know. That was very interesting. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the crimes of these women, do the punishments fit the crimes? I don't think so. I think some of them got sentenced to way too much time. And it's not right. It's not fucking right. You know what I'm saying? And then Joan Ferguson, like, she never got charged with anything. She escaped into the nothing and she was never charged. She never paid for the crime of killing B. Smith. All right? Never. Moving forward, all of the people of Australia have to watch their backs, especially when they're walking the streets at night, because Joan Ferguson is out there. So I was editing the video when I realized I forgot to talk about Joan Ferguson and her sentencing. So according to the book, it says that she was sentenced to 7 years in prison, but she only served 5 years. How the fuck, where the fuck, how is this possible? How in the hell did Joan Ferguson serve 5 years in Wentworth Correctional Center? All right, let's try to figure this out. So Joan Ferguson came into Wentworth Correctional Center in season 3. So she's there for season 3, right? And season 4, she's released. She's cleared of all the charges, all right? And she is released. But then what happens? She kills B. Smith. So right back into Wentworth she goes. Freedom was hers for 15 minutes. No more, no less. So she's back in Wentworth now, season 4, right? Season 5, the bitch escapes and gets buried alive by Will Jackson, okay? Now she's presumed dead, when in fact she is alive and well, just, lurking in the shadows. Then, at the ending of season 7, we see this bitch living homeless by the fires, okay? And then now she's back in Wentworth come season 8. And we have already established that season 8, part 1 and part 2, only lasted, that whole time was just a 3-month time period. So how in the fuck did this bitch do 5 years in jail? How? 5 years in fucking Wentworth Correctional Center. It just didn't happen, all right? It didn't go down that way. She didn't do no damn 5 years. Maybe it was a misprint. Maybe the author of this book meant to write 5 months. And by mistake, she wrote 5 years. Furthermore, when in the fuck was Joan sentenced to 7 years? So did she get sentenced to 7? What? Okay, I don't understand what the fuck happened here. Murder, when you commit a cold-blooded murder, right? The trend seems to be you get 15 years in jail for that shit. Joan Ferguson killed B. Smith in cold blood right there in no man's land. So how the fuck is she only sentenced to 7 years? I'm assuming she was charged for that murder. Was she or was she not? I just don't fucking know anymore. But what was the 7-year charge? Where did that fucking come from? Because the bitch was exonerated in the ending of season 4. I don't know what happened there. I just don't know what happened there. I'm going to go on record as saying I think that was a misprint of some sort. It happens. Mistakes happen every day. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody's fault. So if you like this video, you already know what to do. Like my shit. Subscribe to my channel if you've not already. And ring the notification bell so that you could know when I post videos in the future. And that's it. Bye.